Okay, so let's talk about monomials. So what is a monomial? It's an algebraic expression consisting of only one term. So remember going back when we did combining like terms that terms are separated by addition or subtraction sign. Okay, so some examples of monomials are something like 2x, 3y squared, 4m to the third power, 16ab, negative 4m to the third power, n to the fifth power, p. So hopefully you see that in these there were no addition and subtractions and everything's being multiplied together. Okay. So now let's talk about how do we add and subtract monomials. So to add and subtract them, we're just going to combine like terms. So remember the like terms have the same variables with the same exponents, and we just combine the coefficients, which are the numbers in the front. But in doing so, we leave the variables the same, we leave the exponents the same, and the only thing we're combining are the coefficients in front. So we're going to go through a couple of these examples. So here we have 17x minus 25x. So we can see that these all have the same variable, and the variable has the same exponent, which the exponent is 1. Even though it's not written there, we have to understand that to be 1. So we have our variables of x. They both have an exponent of 1, even though it's not written. So therefore, all we have to do is deal with the coefficients. So the 17 minus 25, in which we get negative 8. So then your answer here would be negative 8x. Okay. All right, let's look at number 2. Both of these terms have y as their variable, and the y's both have exponents of 2, so we know they're like terms. So all we have to worry about is dealing with the coefficient. So the negative 23 plus 6 is negative 17. So this is negative 17 y to the second power. All right, so let's look at example 3. They all have a, b, and c as variables. The a has an exponent of 3 in both, and both the b and c have exponents of 1, so we know they're like terms. So now all we have to do is combine the coefficients, which is negative 15 plus 6, which is negative 9, and then we bring down the variables with their exponents. So we end up with negative 9, a to the third power, b to c. And remember that the b and c both have to the exponent of 1, is just not written. All right, so let's skip to number 5. So we have 2ab plus 9ac. So they both have an a, but this one has a b, and this one has a c. So therefore, they do not have the same variables with the same exponents, so we can't combine them because they're not like terms. So your answer is just what it is. You leave it. If you can't combine it, you leave it. Oops. All right, so now let's look at example 8. Now, this one has fractions, but we're going to do the same thing. So they both have c and d, and the d is raised to the exponent of 2. So now we're going to do 2/5 minus 1/3, and you can do this in Desmos, and you get the fraction 1/15, and this will be c d to the second power. So that's your final answer. Everything's been combined. All right, so let's look at number 11. Even though we have more terms here, 4 to be exact, we can still see what we can put together. So this one has y, and then this has the y here, so we can put those together. So that's 7y. And now we can put the 9z with the minus 3z. Remember, always take the sign in front. So 9 minus 3 is 6, which is our positive 6. So you do plus 6z. And now I can't combine anything else, so this is my final answer. All right, so now let's do question 16. It says, find the difference of, let's move that out the way, 10x squared y and 2x squared y. So remember, difference just means subtraction. Okay, so that means we want to subtract these. So we want to have 10x squared y minus 2x squared y. They have the same variables with the same coefficients, so we're just going to subtract the coefficients. They have the same variables with the same exponent, excuse me. So we're just going to worry about the coefficients. So 10 minus 2 is 8. And then we keep the variables with their exponents, x squared y. And here's our final answer. All right, so now let's look at question 17. It says subtract 9a from negative 15a. So I want you to be careful when you see something like this, because I need to subtract 9a from negative 15a. So that means we're going to have negative 15a minus 9a. Okay, that's subtracting the 9a from the negative 15a. They have the same variables, and the variables have the same exponents. So now we can just deal with the coefficient. So we'll have negative 15 minus 9, which is negative 24a. And that's your final answer. Okay. So now we've learned how to add and subtract monomials. So this will be the end of the video, and I want you to go ahead and finish all the rest of the examples we did not cover. Thank you.